Today is Friday, the 28th of February. Great to be with you as always. I'm Ayanda Nyati. Of course, we'll continue monitoring the situation around the registration of Spaza Shops. Coming up within the hour, we'll be in Bloemfontein with Aphumelele Mdlalane standing by with how all of that is faring. Much of the same reporting from Sentleeng Lehihi in Mahikeng, Puseletso Mokoena standing by in Soweto. Let's get straight into it with the top story at 10. And let's get straight into our special focus around the registration of Spaza Shops and other food trading outlets. Today, of course, being a deadline for all these owners to comply. We'll begin our coverage in Mahikeng in the Northwest. That's where we find our reporter Sentleeng Lehihi, who joins us now live. The Northwest, of course, having its fair share of these kind of food-borne illnesses, so to speak. Sentleeng, what's the uptake looking like as we count down the hours to this 5 o'clock deadline?
Good morning to you, Ayanda, and our viewers. Indeed, the Northwest has experienced its fair share of food poisoning incidents that actually highlighted the need to do these thorough inspections and ensure that all these outlets are properly registered and compliant. We've also heard from the Department of COGTA in the province that they've actually conducted a number of inspections and found some areas of concern, and they've actually went to those areas and closed them down. They've also explained to us that they've received a number of applications, but not all of those who applied actually did get these certain approvals. But to get a better and clear understanding on the inspections that they actually have conducted, we're going to speak to the department HOD, Ben Bole, for a clear indication of what happened there. Dr. Bole, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. You explained to us that you conducted quite a number of inspections, and what you saw there left much to be desired.
No, in fact, indeed, Sentleeng as a province, we have conducted inspections in 4,000 of our Spaza shops across the province. And we have found that 273 of those Spaza shops were non-compliant, and then we had to shut down 73 of them because those 73 were actually worse. And we must also indicate that generally in the province we have received 8,000 applications, and out of total number of 8,000 applications, majority of them are foreign nationals, and we're plus or minus 6,000 out of 8,000 applications that we have received as the Northwest.
Now, when we go to those places where there was severe non-compliance and you have to shut them down, how do you ensure that they do not reopen and ensure that they remain shut down and don't continue selling whatever may be harmful to our communities?
You'll recall that the MEC, who's responsible for COGTA in the province, MEC Molapisi, has issued out a directive that all our municipalities in the province must adopt the draft bylaws which were issued by the COGTA at the national level. And out of 22 municipalities, 21 have adopted those draft bylaws, and the position of the department is that our municipality must actually continue to enforce compliance. And in that context, we feel that will reduce the non-compliance. And over and above that, what we have also observed is that foreign nationals, some of them and our own people in the province are sleeping in those Spaza shops, and it is in that context that our position as provincial government is that that is and it's not it borders on issues of hygiene, and therefore that is why those bylaws must be enforced by our municipalities, and that is the clarion call that the MEC has made across the province.
And how have we ensured as a department that these municipalities will have the capacity to have the resources and personnel to go to these tuck shops and enforce, as you are saying? Because as we know, our municipalities suffer greatly from lack of capacity.
We have met with, the MEC met with the mayors, and he has made a point that we'll have to respond to that. And I must emphasize that throughout the province, we are also working with with our local economic development units. And those are the units, quite frankly, that they are assisting their municipalities and the expectation of the province to ensure that there is a compliance in all respects. And bi-weekly, they give us the information at the level of the province, because we have established those particular structures from the municipalities up to the province, just to make sure that on regular basis we get that information and we ensure, working together with our municipalities, we ensure that compliance.
Now, so far, for those that have not gotten their compliance and registrations, is there grace going for them forward, or the deadline is done?
We'll hear the directive from our minister. He's the one who will then give us the directive in terms of what must happen in the country, including the province. And we'll then take it from there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Bole. Dr. Bole explaining to us there that as a department, they've actually went to the municipalities to ensure that they've adopted these bylaws and are making sure that there's proper compliance at ground level. They're saying that they're ensuring that those that have been found to be non-compliant and have some hygiene and other concerning issues are being kept a tight look at to ensure that there's no re-emergence of their trading. They'll continue to observe the situation there, as quite a number of these businesses that have applied have not gotten the clarity, but a significant majority is good and set to go. From us here, we're heading to Soweto.
Thank you so much, Sentleeng. Well, we are still here in Jabulani in Soweto Civic Center. We are still monitoring the situation here, whereby Spaza shop owners are here to register their businesses as per the President's directive last year in November. We know that today it is the last and the final day for them to do so. But I just want to engage with one of them. We have been speaking of, so I just want to engage with them to tell us more about the process of registering and the documentation. Also, China, thank you so much for your time. We spoke of you were telling me about the documentations that are being needed here. Let's talk about that.
All right. With this place, I would say it's very unfair, because when we came here to ask what are we supposed to bring, azange basitshele ukuthi kumele silethe 1, 2, 3, 4. We were just told to come and register, which is very unfair. And at the very same time, abo my friend bona baqhashe emajardini, kufunwa ama-title deed, kufunwa this, kufunwa that, incwadi zakamasipala. Bona bahlele emajardini abanazo incwadi zakamasipala. Thina kumele silethe incwadi zakamasipala, which is very, very unfair for South Africans. So I feel these people are abusing us, and they tell us today is the last day, whereas azange bas inform we must bring 1, 2, 3, 4. So ipaza zethu zizovalwa if I as registeranga. So it's unfair for us. Abasinikeza postponement, and at the very same time, this thing was supposed to be communicated like on TV and social media. You need to bring 1, 2, 3, 4. Kungavele mawufika la kuthiwa hayi ukwazi ukuregister because wena ulethanga 1, 2, 3, 4. Kunabomama abadala abanephaza kudala zirana. We understand dala zirana lephaza, it's been long. So mayifika la akazi ne-CK, akazi nani, mayifika yena uziphathele i-ID yakhe. So I feel the South African government is failing us big time. Abo my friend bona bayakhishwa ngama-backdoor la bahambe bayokwenza into zabo, whereas thina sihleli la sihleli nje thina, so asibonakali, in short. You understand? Yeah, so I feel ukuthi i-country yethu yasifeyila as South Africans. Yeah.
Austembi, let me come to you. We understand that today it is the last day, right? Are you confident that you will be done to register your Spaza shop today?
I don't think so. As China Ashwood government, it's just failure. Khona manje njengoba sila siphethe lezi zinto lezi bathi ziyashort, uphatha le short. So into engibona ukuthi okufuneka yenzakale la ukuthi government wethu acabange into. The only thing government ayithandayo yethu ukuthi asiyuze, but ama foreigners ngoba banemali bakhona ukuphumelela kuzo zonke izinto zabo. Thina cause asinamali. If khona manje basitshela ukuthi sizoregister kuzokufuna sikhiphe nemali, and they didn't tell us about imali. Ngizoyithatha phi imali ngakasivuli leso Spaza shop? ukwabona, and baksusa from pillar to post, which is unfair. Yabo, ugovernment wethu kakhulu into ayibhekile imali. For thina South Africans uyasifeyila. That's it.
Have you been coming here Osnomachina, or it's your first time?
Yes, I did come here because I wanted to know ukuthi kumele ngilethe ini nani, but that was never said. The only thing which I got la ukuthi kuyavalwa, it's the last day Friday. We understand. Yeah, but ukuthi kufuna 1 2 3 4 I was never told.
But today do we have all the documentations?
Not everything, apparently, because ezinye, from what I'm hearing, kumele ngihambe ngiye nase-Bram Park, you understand, all that, nama title deed and so forth, yabona. So which is something that was never communicated to me.
Wena Ostimbi?
Hayi nami angiphithanga zonke phela enye into ukufuna i-business plan ukuthi ngibangithi bafuna i-business plan ufune ngiyenze ngemali anginamali ukuthi ngihambe ngiye elento ngiyofuna i-plan yendlu yami imali neyonke lento le imali. But for people abanga like the foreigners abanganawo ama-business plan, abanganama jarid, abanganama title deed, bona banama rights. Like now khona manje basimela bayabathatha bahamba bodwa nabaya bathatha bona bodwa. Why bathatha bona bodwa? Okushoyo ukuthi babheke, okusho kona ukuthi kubhekwe imali more than i-success yomuntu omnyama. Abafuni umuntu omnyama succeed.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Well, Ayanda, I just want to speak to another shop owner here, Elias. Elias, thank you so much for making time for us. I understand that there seems to be a lot of documentation that is needed here so that you can register. Did you manage to get all the documentation?
My name is Elias. I came from the Soweto, the Mapeta, Lazy Street. So since the government to address about this shop registration, so I came the first time then to register the shop, then they are testing those Dudulas people. Then after that, the office is closed totally. After 3 to 4 days, I came, I never find, they say the shop is closed because they are disturbing those partner of Dudula. Then after that, after a long time, when I come, one of officer here, also I ask, they say no, it's still is not starting. So since from yesterday, starting. Just yesterday morning, I came here, and since 7 o'clock until night, they didn't say we are tired. The line is, the queue is too much. So I wait, I've been wait. Then I got yesterday. Then today morning, 7 o'clock, I came again. But still the line is, look at, there's a lot of queue. But I never get to register the shop still now. But I get what they're asking documents there. I get it. What is the addressing the government? I prepare it. But the problem only for the registering the shop here, because also now is the last day, because the people, many people is not registering the shop because they are not working seriously. They are not working. But we accept what the government says. We agree to register the shop, but here they are not working properly. But if we are not, they are not working where we are registering. But where they said, even yesterday morning, they told me, one of the officers, go to the Protea. I go to Protea. They cancels, they are registering the shop. I go there. There is a witness also. Then I go there. They say no. There is, because since from December they didn't come back to register the shop. Your business is go to Jabulani to register the shop. I came here also. There's a line. There's a lot of line. How can just today these people? How can they are finishing these people today? Must think twice the government about this issue. But also they must tell to the people, the one who is working properly in the office. Because if the office is they are not working, they don't do nothing. That the gentle lady what she is saying, she's true. Because most of them they need money. I know. That's why we don't get those all the things. But what they are saying, the government, we are agreed to do whatever what he needs. But they are not working properly. That's the problem.
Thank you so much for your time, Elias. Well, Ayanda, that was Elias, one of the Spaza shop owners here in Jabulani in Soweto. They are essentially expressing their frustrations that there's money that is needed here. There are so many documents that are needed here, and they did not know of them. And they are frustrated that they are not, they are not confident that today they will be done with registering, as it is the last day for Spaza shop owners to register. But right now, I'm going to cross to my colleague Aphumelele Mdlalane, who is in Harrismith.
Well, thank you so much. We're coming to you from the small economic zone here in the Free State, in Harrismith to be particular. And we do know that the province also has its own challenges when it comes to the registration, or rather the applications received. We do understand that it's more than 5,000 applications across the province that have been received, but the ones that are on the green light that have been processed are around 600. That would mean that a number of people that have registered, their status is still incomplete, and of course that should raise a serious concern, given that today it's of course the deadline. But with me, I'm joined by the MEC so that we can just get the bigger picture of what exactly is happening in the Free State. Let's talk about the numbers. We do know that Thabo Mofusanyana as well as Puseletso is one of those that received a high number of people that are applying for the Spaza shops and other documents.
Thank you, SABC, and thank you to your viewers. Before I can get to the numbers, let's firstly remind the people of the province and the country that the reasons we found ourselves here, one of the most critical thing was to fight lawlessness. We wanted people to have the lawful run businesses in the country, so that government is able also to support a majority of SMME. But it is difficult for any government in the world to support people who are not compliant, who are not registered. So that was the most important thing. The second one was to deal with the illicit food and expired food in many of the tech shops that were operating. And it becomes easy for you to do that because you don't have any legal obligation to observe. So that is why people had to register. So there was the first deadline, which after we've realized that we couldn't do much of the work, we then extended it. But I can tell you now that from us as the Free Staters now, we are very much comfortable about the work that has been done in relation to the registration. We are seated at 7,581, the number that we collected on Monday. It could have improved also because we are going to close at around the working hours time to knock off. So we'll be closing and consolidate every number. So we are still expecting many people to come to the fourth and register.
There are many factors that would make one not to be able to trade. For instance, if they are not compliant when it comes to the issue of health and safety, you are talking about the expired goods now. How are you going to be able to monitor thereof, going back to them and make sure that they are in compliance, even though their status has been, of course, approved?
Look, in the Free State, we have long started with the inspection. We have so far inspected 1,821 tech shops. In the 1,821 tech shops, we found that many were not compliant, and due to some of the reasons that we have just mentioned here. And what we are doing, we have been closing tech shops. We have been closing the small businesses that are involved in illegal and illicit production of products. We have also been involved in ensuring that there's education, because amongst other things, which is important for our people, is the education. To learn how to manage and control your business, to learn how to pack your things just on the shelf, and what are the things that they are supposed to be on the shelf, and what are the things that are not supposed to be on the shelf. So with a number of workshops we have been visiting in a joint effort together with the SAPS, together with the Department of Health, the health inspectors. We have been visiting tech shops. Actually, we have touched all the districts in this province.
MEC, just an important question here is that there are those that are trading from home, and their places supposed to be identified as a business zone in terms of your rates and tax services that they're supposed to pay. Are you being challenged, therefore, when it comes to see whether they are complying and have to trade in a place that is identified as a business zone?
I was about to tell you that we are also working with municipalities. Municipalities are enabling us to know that in this house there's a trade that is taking place. Umama uhlezi pha ufraya amagwinya but she does not know the implications maybe of anything that she's using even to do that. So we were able to get that information, and we were able to help some of the people to say, for you to be compliant, this is what you must do. Some were even advised that go for rezoning with municipalities. So we are hard at work in ensuring that all businesses that are being done informally, so trading that is taking place in the houses where people are living, they have to undergo some rezoning process, so that people should then make a choice that either my house it becomes a business or it is being divided into two. They know that there's a part where I'm using it for businesses and there's a part where I'm settling with my family. So that has been the education. So the most important thing that I wanted to drive is that there has to be registration that is taking place. And after we've closed today, those that have not been registered, really their shops are going to be closed. But not to be closed so that we are saying they should not operate. They can only operate after they've registered. The window period was enabling them that even if they were not registered, they were still being able to operate, but they were encouraged to register. Now the difference is that after this window period, we are now going to follow the same legal process of registering, but you can't operate a business at that time. With this one, you are able to operate a business. Weekly, you are still being registered. In the Free State, for instance, we've already approved 647 of the applications that we have already received. The process of application is so slow because, of approving application is so slow because there are so many things that our people have done, which are part and parcel of the fraudulent processes that we are beginning to serve due to people who are trying to make money out of illegal means. So this is what we are trying to stop. So we are really discouraging them to make use of their IDs to give to other people, and then they don't become the owners of the businesses, and at the end they're expected to pay tax. They're expected to lose some of the SASSA benefits for those who are really benefiting for SASSA, because the system is going to be linked to all these departments.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap, MEC.
Thank you. So we're just calling upon everyone to join hands. Let there be no one who's taking law unto themselves. If we find a tech shop that is operating without having been registered, call the police, call the departments, inform the municipalities so that we're able to correct the situation. But thanks to those who have registered, thanks to those who have heeded the call. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Well, you do hear Ayanda as for in the Free State. This is the situation. I wanted to bring Umama here, but I do see that I'm running out of time. She was telling us about the challenges that she faced when she wanted to register, but I will just talk to her later on. But we do hear now the status of the Free State. Where are we when it comes to the people that have applied, which is more than 6,000, but people that their applications, the status is approved, it's only about 600. Of course, that should be a concern, because if by business, by end of business today, the status remains that it's only 600 that have applied, the other ones won't be able to trade until their application process it's been completed. It's now I will just hand over to my colleague Nonhlakanipo.
Thank you so much, and good morning to the viewers at home. We are here in eThekwini. It is, of course, the last day of registration of Spaza shops around the country. At first, we did see a lot of Spaza shop owners being reluctant to go and register, saying that the process is very difficult for them. However, we do have the Deputy Chairperson of Economic Development and Planning around eThekwini, who has been overseeing the registration process, Councillor Pili Ndlovu, who will be telling us more about how the registration process has been going around eThekwini. Mrs. Ndlovu, we do understand that today is the last day, and I'm sure people, or the last minute people, are going out there to register. And your view as the person who's been overseeing this process, how's the situation looking right now? Are the registration sites full?
Good morning to yourself and good morning to the viewers at home. To date, maybe before I can go to date, as the city, we have received 6,000 applications. But unfortunately, so far, we've only been able to approve 1,450. Obviously, that has to do with a lot of compliance issues from the side of the applicant. But I've been told that today, but I think this we know is always a situation with people in general, that all our regional offices are packed because we have 5 right across the city, because we just made it easier for a person if they need to apply. Obviously, there's also the platform where you can apply online. So we've been told that our offices are packed, which tells you by the end of the day, our numbers would have increased significantly from the 6,000. We're expecting more. Yes, indeed, today is the last day. As we knew, we previously had a deadline, but the minister had then extended. So we don't know, they might extend or they might not. But obviously, we're not saying now that's become the era if you want to be a tax shop owner. I mean, tomorrow or any other day, if someone decides this is the business that I want to venture in, they could always come and apply. But instead of compliance, this was the deadline.
Speaking of compliance and speaking of registration, at the beginning when we visited Spaza shop owners, some of them were very reluctant, saying that the process was very difficult. Could that also be probably the reason why not as many Spaza shops are registering?
I think with anything, before you know it, it's always the fear of the unknown. But we have tried by all means to make the registration process very simple, very easy. Hence, I think even in some areas, we're actually just taking our guys and going to the area. It's not really difficult. If you have all the required documents, then, and it's not even an expensive process. I think as we explained more, that's when you started getting the numbers increase, because I just think it was a fear of unknown, but it's not a difficult process. It does not even take long. I mean, you could always, if you can do it yourself, you can always just fill a form. But if you can't, we've always had our officials to come and assist. And I think when I've mentioned earlier to say that the numbers that we have approved has not been that great, I think that has to do with the issues when I speak of compliance, because once we receive the application, we then call the relevant department. For example, town planning. If you have identified a site and then they're saying, unfortunately, you can't build on this site because there's a water pipe or there's a sewer line running there, then you can't. And then if health come and see that, you know, health-wise, you can't have a tax shop in that particular area. But I think one of our biggest challenges has been in informal areas, because you don't have a formal address, and some of them it has been very difficult for us. Once they send, they'll just say, I stay in Inand, and they will not give you a specific address where to get. I think that has been the biggest challenge, and some of them, for us to respond, our officials has not been able to get hold of them. I think while I've got this opportunity, those that have applied, especially during November and December, would advise that they visit one of our offices. There's one in Verelem, there's one in Sentleeng, there's one in Tuzuma. Like you said, even here in Central, there's an office, or they can call our line to inquire about the application. The number is 031-311-4535.
Now, a number of people have been complaining, saying that it's a lot of foreign nationals who are owning Spaza shops. During the registration process, have you seen a lot of locals registering?
In the beginning, I think we were also saying they did come in numbers, but I think that's when we said when our local guys did not understand the process. But once we explained, that's when we started getting our local guys applying. But even with our foreign nationals, I mean, we know that a South African constitution, if they are here legally, then they have a right to apply. And I think this is another process that's been delaying, because once you get someone that is a foreign national, you then need to take the information to Home Affairs, where they need to verify that indeed this person is here legally. But when you look at the application, the local guys has been more, but there have also been challenges where our local guys were applying on behalf of the foreign national. But if you had to compare the percentage, it has been more of our local guys than our foreign nationals.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was the Deputy Chairperson of Economic Development and Town Planning here in eThekwini, saying that over 6,000 applications from Spaza Shops were put forward, but they can only approve a fraction of that, just over 1,000 because of compliance issues. However, since today is the deadline, and I'm sure our colleagues are all around the country, let's just go to Monique in Alexandra and hear from her how the process is going there.
I work on the generation angithi amapiano lava.
Well, we are in, all right. Well, we are actually currently still in Alexandra, known as Gomorrah, where today is the final day for business owners to register their businesses with their local municipalities. Well, a key concern that has been raised about township economy is the fact that it is being increasingly monopolized by foreign nationals. In a study conducted between 2010 and 2013, found that over 50% of Spaza shops are being run by foreign nationals. I spoke earlier on to a South African national lady who actually runs a Spaza shop who actually closed it down. She said to us, she wasn't comfortable speaking on air, but she mentioned to us that she had to close down her business due to the dominance of foreign nationals that are dominating in the townships, which is declining the township economy of South Africans. But joined with me now, I have with me Mxolisi Buthelezi, who actually found a solution to this prompt problem that we are facing in the country. He actually is the founder of Konala Stores. I'm sure you're probably wondering what Konala Stores is and what does it entail. Well, we know that it is a retail store that actually helps South African nationals to buy their stock, be it groceries, fruit and veg in bulk. So join with me now. I'm going to switch over to him to just give us a bit more and tell us more about Konala Stores. Well, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Konala Stores, local stores, it's a bright future ahead of us. Can you please tell us a bit more about it?
Thank you so much. Well, yes, Konala Local Stores is a network of independent township stores and in rural areas as well. We bring them together under the brand Konala. So it's kind of like a hybrid model of a franchise of these stores, although it is not a franchise where we charge franchise fees. We just make sure that we borrow from the typical franchise operation for good governance. But there's a lot of value in that because we found that even through our research, as you mentioned earlier, that local stores couldn't compete in the market, as it were. And there are a lot of problems around that. But specifically, it's because our stores have been trading in silos in the past. And I think time has moved for, I have my own little shop in the corner. You have to be part of a network. You need to belong into a network where, bargaining power works in your favor. And that's what Konala does and what it brings to township and rural area stores. This is more than just home-based tuck shops, Spaza shops, but we are now going to be rolling out even fruit and veg stores. We're going to be rolling out grocery corner stores, Emma Shop, as we've known them. Surprisingly, we'll also be adding, stores like coffee shops, Elokshini. So we're very excited. And I must say that this registration of the stores is very, very important, and we support government with that because I think it will give us an opportunity to take stock and also understand, if township people and our people still want to operate their stores. But not only that, what support do they have? We've been receiving a lot of reports about how difficult it is for local people to register. I think the bylaws would need to be, in our view, also be relooked at. But it's a start. And I think as we roll out more stores now in different townships, we'll be doing it in Alex, Dobsonville, Tulani area, in Attridgeville and Pretoria. We will be working with different municipalities on behalf of our network and members to ensure that they adhere to the rules, because rules have to be there. And so that is exciting for us.
Well, as Konala local stores, I want to ask, you spoke about the support of the local government and municipalities. Now, speaking about business owners, how can they come to the local store, Konala local store, to get or purchase their products in bulk? Can you please take us through that process?
Fantastic. As Konala, we deal directly with the manufacturers at that level, and through our warehouse, the stores that belong to the network, then therefore they draw the stock from us, and the stock gets delivered right at their doorstep. A lot of advantages for them and for the consumer at large. One, we're ensuring that there are no fake products because we work directly with the manufacturers. So basically a product moves from their warehouse or their manufacturing plant into our warehouse, into the store, and then into the consumer. So that is very, very, very important. Secondly, because we then use the bulk buying, bargaining power, we then negotiate very, very hard with the manufacturers so that we get the prices for the store owners or our network in a manner that they can afford and can still be able to add their margin and get something out of that. The retail is very tough. Margins are very, very low. So if we are not organized and if township businesses are not organized in that manner, even if we register businesses, we're still going to be faced with the same problem. That is very important. Secondly, I think, Monique, there's been an issue about, is it foreign nationals? We need to look at the township policy across, and we need to overhaul everything, in our view. We have big retailers that have moved into the townships that have actually destroyed a lot of local businesses way before you can talk about foreign nationals. So that needs to be looked at with this process as well. And we're starting to engage with different stakeholders in that space so that our people also are protected from the big retailers, and this is why we are a retail brand. And protection in this case means that, unfortunately, we have to, as township businesses, also gear up ourselves and operate at that level. Otherwise, we remain Spaza Shops, and we also don't want to use the word Spaza Shops at Konala because it got that negative connotations. These are tuck shops, and these are real convenience stores and community stores, and we want to treat them that way. This is why our members, when they join, their stores are easily identifiable. They're part of the Konala brand. They receive point of sale systems that link with us at our DC, so we know exactly what's in the shop, how it got there, and so that we get rid of all these other negative things that have been associated with Spaza Shops or tuck shops.
Okay, one last question before I let you go. Can we speak about cost efficiency? We talk about the fact that foreign-owned nationals have a price setting that is low enough for South African nationals or residents of the community to easily skip and go and buy from them. Let's take an example, a typical example, bread. So bread at the cost price of 18 Rand, and foreign national will sell it at 15 Rand. So if I go to a Spaza shop and I have to choose between, I'll go and choose with the 15 Rand. So when we speak about cost efficiency in terms of Konala local stores and bulk buying, how will it help for South African townships to actually go to Konala local stores to get their bulk from there?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I think there are a lot of myths about costs and what is happening in the space. Quite honestly, if you're going to be selling bread at 15 Rand, I know it's an example, but we've seen this, it means you're not making any profit. And so that lies a big problem. Why would others go to that extent? It doesn't make business sense. We know that, and we know that it's been a strategy really that has been implemented to undercut and eventually it managed to destroy a lot of businesses because our folks were trading as silos again. But if you're part of the network, then you're able to actually negotiate very hard with the manufacturers and you get a better price without you resorting into, other methods of trading. So we're not really concerned. I think, we can spend a lot of time on this, but like I said, that it's a big myth. If you're in retail and in trade, a whole lot of things don't make sense. But, it's what it is, and we see it, and we have a response for that.
Thank you so much. Just because of time, we can't really indulge more on that. That was the founder of Konala Local Stores, just telling us about how they are going to be backing up South Africans in the township economy. I'm going to link now to my colleague, Koketso, to give you a bit more.
Well, thank you so much. And indeed, we are coming to you from the Polokwane municipality here in Limpopo, where people are coming in, trying to get information so that they can be able to register for their small businesses. We understand that today indeed is the last day of the registration, which started, last year. But now I'm joined here by the spokesperson for this municipality, Polokwane municipality, Ndate Tipasalala. Thank you so much for talking to us here on SABC News. Let's talk about the last day today. How are the queues in the municipality, and why are you receiving quite a number of, satisfying number of people who are coming in to register for their businesses?
Yeah, indeed. Thanks for having us, Kogecho. We are receiving applications even today. What we are doing as municipality, we have simplified things because as Polokwane, we are trying to go green, and it's working for us. What we are doing is that all the applications that we receive them through our AFLA portal, which is an online system. So people who are here, if you see the queues here now, they are not coming for applications. They are just here for inquiries, and so that we can also email them the forms, and they will go print out and scan back and send to the municipality through the AFLA portal system.
Let's talk about the number of applications that you've received so far, and let's talk about the approvals.
So far we have not approved any of the applications, but we have so far received just over 900 applications, and the 136 applications, they are in good standing. These are the ones that are going for approval so far, but we have not yet approved. Remember, now what we are doing is just desktop assessment. There is another step that will follow from the desktop assessment, but our team is already on site assessing physically on the properties that have applied to see if indeed what's captured in the form is what is happening on ground. And also we should also remember that those in the villages, they still need approval from Meshade to say, indeed, we know this person. They are allowed to trade on our soil. And then, of course, as the municipality will also go there and assess how the situation is and come back and grant that approval. And after the approval, they will have to go for a permit at the Limpopo Department of Economic Development and tourism, which is LIDET, Environment and Tourism LIDET, for a permit. Here we don't issue permits, we just issue approvals if your Spaza shop is in compliance with our laws.
You spoke about a number of people whose applications are in good standing. Let's talk about the other applications, which, what is lacking on those applications?
Some of them, they don't have all the documentations that is required on the checklist, but as the municipality, we are in engagement with them. We have a system that we are using for bulk SMSs and also for individuals who might not be submitting the same documentation. So what we are doing is that we engage them to say their applications are not complete, so they should bring 1, 2, 3 to the municipality. But if they don't bring, we'll need now to enforce what President Ramaphosa has ordered all the municipalities to enforce.
Okay, you also mentioned here that some of these applications are not yet approved. So what's going to happen to those business owners come the 1st of March, like tomorrow?
It means they are not complying. They are not complying. We'll have to go there and close the Spaza. If we don't receive your application and you're not complying, it means you shouldn't be trading.
All right, Dr. Paslala, thank you so much for joining us here on SABC News. That is the spokesperson for Polokwane Municipality. And I can tell you that indeed the Department of Economic Development in Limpopo is also mentioning that so far they've received, the entire province has received, just about 5,700 applications provincial-wide. And out of those 5,700 applications, only about 4,884 have been, approved. And they're saying that out of these applications, about 884 of them are those of the foreign nationals, and only 4 foreign nationals have been, approved to trade, in those Spaza shops or these small businesses in the communities. But for now, let's get back to you in studio.
Right, Kokojumutao, rounding off really our marathon coverage of this all-important story. Live to us there from Polokwane in Limpopo. In fact, in Polokwane, you might remember 35 pupils had to be taken to hospital from a school in Malamulele when they fell ill from suspected food poisoning. In fact, of that, we understand none of them, of course, thankfully ended up passing on. Nonetheless, over 20 children in Gauteng did die as a result of this series of incidents that we've seen really throughout the country. And that's why SABC News has given a considerable amount of time getting you a sense of how much compliance we're likely to see on the other end of this deadline. And by the signs of it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be much. Earlier, the Cooperative Governance Minister in Velinkosini Hlabisa admitting that, in fact, not enough people have come forward. I wonder whether or not there'll be a follow-through to ensure that those who haven't at least started their applications will, in fact, close down their stores. As you can see, watching that story very closely, and we certainly will throughout the course of the day.